it doesn't feel like Man United have a midfield. September superlatives it is then. This is just in time, and I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because United just lost to Galatasaray 3-2 in the Champions League at Old Trafford. Just being comfortably, to be honest. And it highlighted a lot of the problems that United have had this season. Let's summarize them before we do anything else. 1, injuries. 2, not consistent tactical style because of the injuries. 3, complete lack of cohesion. What I mean by that is the distances between the players is very widely stretched, and the opposition is just like playing through it. 4, commitment issues. Let's take it one by one, back to front. What are the problems? And what I've chosen to do here is to put out a presumptive Man United team based on the current circumstances. I've put Palestri there, not Hannibal. But then again, it's tough to pick a Man United team that you would consider the best team available because of the injuries and just unavailability. Anthony had his problems and just came back. Jadon Sancho has obviously a whole set of other problems. But Amrabat has been playing left back for the last 2 games. Normally, maybe you have Reguilon there. Reguilon got injured as soon as he just started off. What happens here is that, let's put Dalo back there for a second. If Andre Onana, if United are building from deep, he is the one that is splitting the 2 center backs. Normally, you would have the number 6 in that case, Casemiro. He would be the one dropping between the 2, so they go wide, and he would then provide. Let's say Bruno Fernandes is dropping in support. Mason Mount is sometimes actually Christian Eriksen. He would be dropping into support as well. The build up. Rashford, Haaland, and whoever is on the right wing would be up there, right? But this is another problem too, Mason Mount. Now, what happens is that normally the number 6 drops in and splits the center backs, and then you can have the option of playing it left, and that is an early chance to build from wide. The left back would bomb on. Obviously, Amrabat wouldn't do that. Amrabat would be, tucking in and making a double pivot next to Casemiro. But generally, that's the idea, right? But what's been happening too in the deep Man United build-up is that Onana is the one that's splitting the center backs. So then you have very good numbers out wide, because if he passes it left, you then have Amrabat and Casemiro supporting Martinez in moving the ball forward, and then Rashford can make those runs forward as well, and you can start attracting the press. This is an imaginary team. Oh, by the way, this is the correct configuration of 1 through 11 through the pitch. DM, box to box, attacking midfielder. Number 5 is a center back. Good. Let's move on. If United are happen to be building up further up the pitch, let's move them on forward. Time starts now. Time. Beat that. Now, United then have Casemiro dropping in and splitting the center backs himself. But the problem is they are way too direct. So if you're, presuming you want to do a 3-2 build-up structure, right? If you have Dalo and Amrabat tucking in, becoming a 2, or if you have just one of them dropping in, Amrabat to support Casemiro here, Rashford is always, look at any heat map, Rashford is always the one that is the furthest advanced. And because of this, even if you wanted to build from the left, you have a sort of a hole here in this area, because Mason Mount is also someone that's looking to push up, and the idea of Manchester United try to achieve is that they try to commit as many numbers forward as possible and put the backline and DMs under pressure, right? They have them committed. The Mason Mount can play on the half turn, beat a defensive line. Haaland can make those runs in behind. Rashford is obviously gonna try to beat the offside traps. So it's very, very direct, and it leads into a lot of turnover from the opposition. And then once the opposition have the ball, this whole area is a haven for the opposition to pop it through. You don't have the attacking players moving back in time, and there is just so much space. Ten Hag wants to build the best transition side in the Premier League. That is a noble, completely legitimate thing. But to do that, to have a good transition, in my opinion, you need a midfield, not a set of 5 defenders and 5 forwards, as is with the case in this average positions map against Crystal Palace in the league game they lost 1-0. Casemiro is totally isolated from all the play in front of him, and the Man United system exists in just a line of 5. When Arsenal last season did the line of 5, they had Granit Xhaka play as one of the double pivots, and next to him was Thomas Partey, so they had those two. Zinchenko would drop in from left back and build up had a midfield. Not this. Not Casemiro dropping, just sitting in front of the 2 center backs and one of the 2 full backs dropping in as well, but then there's nobody else. It's like 2 are tasked to go through 6 from the opposition. And then obviously it doesn't help that Onana has made the errors that he's made, and it doesn't help that he's saving goals from happening. And we've seen a lot of examples of, I think, of goals that he shouldn't be conceding. He's clearly been brought in for his ball playing abilities, but then again, even if he's playing those long balls, the 5 forwards that are up front are too far ahead for passes to be completed, and there's not a lot of size. At Inter Milan, he had Dzeko, who's obviously tall and very strong. Rasmus Haaland has just started to, in recent weeks, actually start games, and he's kind of the only physical presence up front. But then you had, at that time, you had Dzeko, and you had Lautaro Martinez, probably one of the top 3 back-to-goal players in the entire world. His hold of play is impossibly good for his size. Like Haaland, I don't know if Haaland is necessarily a back to goal striker himself. And then as well with Inter Milan, he had a back 5, and he had a big wing back in Dumfries, and a really fast and very technical wing back in DiMarco, and it helped. Like when he sprays a ball forward, DiMarco can just like kill it dead like that. Dumfries can win his physical battles, and he had Lautaro, of course, and Dzeko forward to bring the ball down with their back to goal. He doesn't have those tools at Man United still. Yeah, it's just totally disjointed. But the problem is that Man United, I don't think, have figured who their best 11 is yet, because they haven't had a chance to, because the injuries are way too many. There are way too many injuries for a side like this. I think this could be a problem with the intensity at which the training sessions are conducted, because if you watch the pressing from Man United, first of all, you can acknowledge that the fact that they have the most high turnovers in the league, but what they do with it isn't effective, because they create not nearly enough chances and score not nearly enough goals. They've scored 7 goals and conceded 11. Even their expected, it's not like they've been unlucky or anything. They just don't create, and they concede loads. So they're 10th in the league table and 11th in the expected points table. Just the fitness levels aren't there at all. When you see them pressing, the Brighton example is probably the most famous example of this, because in that second goal, they start off the shape well, and they bring it out wide, and then Scott McTominay kind of just like dogs to Tyreek Lamptey, who just cruises past him. So I don't know if it's a fitness problem or just like a commitment problem. You wonder, what is the best 11 for Man United? We won't see that in a while, and they just need to figure out a system, which I think they can do now. Like, Bruno Fernandes can still drop in and try to look for those passes, provided you don't have 5 players camping up front. I don't know if he realizes it, but there's legitimately, it's just like a vertical line of 5. Like, try to get Mason Mount is good on the half turn. Try to have him take the ball from Casemiro and take a half turn. Bruno Fernandes is quite a good long passer. Get him to receive the ball from Casemiro and pop those long balls, and like pass it through the back line a little bit. Try to attract the press and try to play through it and beat the offside trap then. It's hard to watch even as a Liverpool fan. I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but it doesn't feel like Man United have a midfield, offensively or defensively. The amount of space the opposition has to play through is very generous from Man United. So Man United take our most disappointing team of the year, of the month. Sorry, of the month. This is September awards. Of the year would probably be at the end of the year. So subscribe to see that 3 months from now. Also go to our links in the description. We're a podcast, so we're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and here every Tuesday. We start with bad and end on a high, right? Onana is gonna unfortunately take the most disappointing player. Yeah, no recency bias. All of that has been decided before the Galatasaray game. Best team of the month, Aston Villa. Look at you, Aston Villa. Look, the Brighton result played a massive part in this, okay? And that was on September 30th. They started this on September 1st with a 3-0 loss to Liverpool, then a 3-1 win against Crystal Palace, a defeat in the Conference League against Legia, sure, a win against Chelsea, a defeat in the EFL Cup, we don't count those, and the 6-1 win against Brighton, I think, is the key here. And Aston Villa, you don't expect them to like win. You don't expect them to have 15 points from 7 games. 5 wins from 7 is very, very good. Let's have it right. Liverpool, Arsenal, and Tottenham have 5 wins from 7. Ollie Watkins has come alive. Look, if you go to his fantasy page, there's Haaland and there's Ollie Watkins. You must have these two in your team. Just editing here, and I think I'm wrong here because in the wildcard I'm about to do after the international break, I don't think I'll have Haaland. There's been teams doing the rounds, been conditioned to have Haaland, right? Because he's going to be the top scorer, and he is already by like 3 goals ahead already. But the team that you can make without Haaland is unreal. Right out? Just saying. But I've had Ollie Watkins from the start of the season, I think. His September has looked like this. Obviously, no returns against Liverpool. Assist against Crystal Palace, goal against Chelsea, hat-trick and 2 assists against Brighton. And he's returned every single game since the start of the season, apart from that Liverpool defeat. He's beautiful. He's so beautiful. And I think what is quite underrated about Ollie Watkins is that he's developed physically quite well over the last 2 years. If my memory serves right, I feel like he was more of an off-the-shoulder player, and one that will rely on his pace more often. Now he will just like win a lot of physical battles and keep his balance and stuff. And yeah, beautiful to see. Yves Bissouma was a strong candidate for Player of the Month, but hey, it's my channel, the podcast I run. This is my video. I do whatever I want. Alright, and since that's the case, I will talk about the Bundesliga because Stuttgart are second, and there's a particular striker that's been good on FM for a few years now. Seru Guirassy. Guirassy. I hope I pronounced that right. But my God. He's not going to keep this up. But he's already scored 10 goals in 5 league games. And has 1 assist as well. 10 goals. And it's not like he's just a poacher and they get loads of chances he gets in there. No. He finishes. Go watch his 10 goals so far in the Bundesliga. It's a unique set. There's one chip that genuinely, I'm not saying there's any similarity at all, but it reminded me of Messi against Leverkusen in 2012. That chip is just like he scooped it so high that even if the goalkeeper is like from a standing point on a trampoline and will jump as high as he can, he won't get there. So Stuttgart went on from that one defeat to win every single game in the Bundesliga since. Obviously won all games in September. First spot is Bayer Leverkusen. Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen, who probably is going to go manage Real Madrid, which is quite scary. Bayern Munich are in 3rd, Dortmund 4th. Please, God, just give us a title race in the Bundesliga. Probably isn't, right? But let's hope it's the start of something in the Bundesliga. Right, so these are the prizes for September. Congrats to all the winners. And these are your awards. That's your lot. Go to the description. You'll find us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else. Go down there. All right. I'll see you there everywhere. Bye.